Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for X-Men Issue 6, 2024. Ooh, that looks kinda nutty and gnarly. It kind of fits with what's going on. I mean, we get magic, we get temper, we get this girl here, but it is not this kind of intensity. But we kind of get into that, so let's hop into this. Merle Alaska, so, what are you gonna do then? What do you mean, ID? What do you mean? Are you seriously not going to mess with these protesters, Quentin? You of all people? What's the point? And I kind of like how this is framed. We got a big kind of vertical panel, and a smaller one, and then just seeing Quentin's head down here. Sure, I could get into their heads. Dig up the dirty, petty thoughts about each other that everyone has, put those thoughts in their mouths, make them hate each other forever. But what would be the point? Come on, McCoy's doing his lecture, and we're like, You know how he gets when no one listens to him. When he's in a sulk, I think I actually prefer the psycho-villain beast. That's kind of nutty, man. Though Quentin usually just spouts off on that weird shit. You know, that might actually be a prime example of one of those dirty, petty thoughts I was talking about. As we see one girl in the protester crowd, as we see here, making the mutant symbol. So we shift and we see pretty much where we're getting our info down for what's going on. And I kind of like how this works out. It's hard to provide a good info dump and a good plot dump without it being kind of tedious and just kind of like, oh god. This is good to pretty much be like an information session and to relay the information that Beast and the rest of the team have collected up into this point. We have encountered adult-onset mutants on 3 occasions. The Orcus 4th School agents in Santo Marco, Benjamin Liu in San Francisco, and Jennifer Starkey in Detroit. Mr. Liu and Ms. Starkey have been good enough to join us here at the facility and provide blood and tissue samples. We also have a sample collected in Santo Marco by Magic. Next sample that I collect from them is going to be a head McCoy. Heh, subtext. Not really that much subtext there, Juggernaut. It's pretty much just explicit. And just her kind of face of like, yeah. It's like, oh god. Regardless, we now know that there is no mutant contagion. Instead, someone has developed a process to artificially encourage X gene activation in adult Homo sapiens sapiens, causing the change to Homo sapiens superior. Someone my ass. It's Cassandra Nova. The thought form that barfed into my brain said as much, which is disturbing as I was present when we left her 2 billion years in the past. See Marauders, Volume 2, Issue 10. Tom, thank you for that info. That is very helpful. And Nova's colleague, she's not working alone, is she? No. According to Quentin and Kwan's psychic exploration, she's a member of a group called 3K. Who they are is currently unknown. Interesting. Cool, so we're getting more information, but still mysteries. Fascinating. What do we call these new mutants? Homo sapiens superior Nova? It's like, okay. And Magneto's having none of it. We call them mutants. As he slams his fist down, it's like, oh shit, he is not having that. Allow me to be clear. I make no distinction between mutants born and mutants made, and neither will the X-Men. Interesting. He's like, now, that does fit within Magneto's worldview and goals, but it's interesting to see him pretty much take that clear of a stance on it. You are welcome here, brother and sister, and we will know you by whatever names you choose for yourselves, which... that's kind of kind for Magneto to do. Thanks, I guess. I don't have anywhere to go back to. The world thinks I'm dead and I burned my life down when I was crazy. And Ben just looks like fine and clean cut now. And Jen's just like, oh shit. I can't go back to Detroit. Not looking like this, and the upstarts are still out there. It's like, sorry she feels that way. Magneto is correct. Scott saying that. Ben, I would strongly recommend you stay here until you understand a little more about your powers. And Jennifer, Hank can help you understand the needs of your new physiology. Yeah. There's a place at the factory for both of you as long as you want to stay. Good on you, Scott. Why'd these two get thrown back into the world when the Santo Marco 6 got teleported away? At this point, I couldn't say. Mr. Liu was abducted, as was Ms. Starkey, based on the missing time she's reported, but both activated after their processing. While the Santo Marco 6 all activated at once, indicating a possible partnership between 3K and 4th School. Perhaps the 6 are in 3K's custody. My best guess? Cassandra Nova and her compatriots are refining their process, refinement that requires constant practice. Whether they thought of Ben and Jennifer's failures to be discarded or subject to be monitored, I can't tell. And I really like Beast with his glasses and his thinking going on there. Can't you, I don't know, do science about it? You're the Beast. Come on. I am doing my best. As you are aware, the Beast who is at the cutting edge of technology is dead. I am trying to catch up, but I am missing the many years of research and self-improvement that he enjoyed. Yeah, that's an important distinction to make. Yeah, he was a frickin' psycho villain asshole, but he was up to date on the tech. You can't just, like, plop somebody from, like, an earlier kind of point and just expect him to just run with shit. That's insane. So it'll take some time for Beast to kind of get there. I want the Santo Marco 6, McCoy. I wasn't kidding about that head. I've got business. Welcome to the species, you two. I hope you know what? Forget it. And it's like, okay, Magic. She got the ping. And of course, that's linking up with the whole thing that we saw with the chess. Let's take a break. Glob, is there anything for lunch? Is there ever? I made quiche. Okay, that's me kind of putting it to it because he just seems like happy about it. I remember when you were a budding mutant terrorist and now quiche? You don't have to have any. Hang on, I didn't say that. It's like Quentin's like, wait a minute. I didn't say that I didn't want the quiche. Oh, and I really kind of like this paneling for the movement factor as we see Temper going after Magic. Are you saying quiche has no place in the revolution? You're putting words in my mouth. You should be putting quiche in your mouth. It's really good. Liliana, Temper, what do you want? Because I'm not interested in quiche. Of course not. Not when you just got a new chess move. How did you... what do you want, Heidi? Want has nothing to do with it. I need your help. It's like, ooh, okay, let's see what's kind of going on here. One of the protesters' kids? A mutant? She made the hand signal. The midnight bark. What are you doing? Huh. Don't know everything, do you? You think that once we had potential hostiles setting up outside the factory gates, Cyclops wouldn't have detailed files on each of them? He had Psylocke on it within minutes. Okay, good job there, Scott. Okay, Piper Cobb, daughter of Rose Eileen Cobb. Single mother, this is your show. What now? We get her. You can teleport. Putting aside how little I like being viewed as a bus. Valid point. Have you thought about how likely it is that this is a trap? A trap? You don't think the clowns can overpower us? Not that kind of trap. And I kind of really like how Magic works this out. The kind of trap where it looks like mutant creeps are coming to abduct a miner. Then our Cold War with one turns into a hot one with every government agency with a gun to spare looking to get their Waco on. And we deserve it for being so stupid. You're a lot smarter than you let on, than you like to let on. It's like, yeah, that's a really good point. If word got out, they'd make me take more responsibility around here. Yeah, Scott would be like, you're leading missions, man. Now, as I'm merely a beautiful, charming bus, I'm sorry, okay? The decision is yours. Do we go, or do we forget all this? It's like, what will you decide? And how will this go? So we shift to, let's see, Piper. Yes, we shift to Piper and seeing her kind of doing her thing. Hey, slow down, Piper. The food's not going anywhere. Sorry, Mom, just hungry, I guess. That age, I guess. Are you feeling okay? Just a cold, maybe. You know how it is at school. Don't I ever. The way bugs sweep through that school, I'm surprised you all haven't come down with the mutant contagion yet. Oh, Lord. Tell me a secret, Heidi. Something you don't want to tell me. Speaking of school, did you ask your friends if they'd join us at the protest? I know it's not cool, but it's important. It's okay. A secret, Ileana? Why? I'll ask again, Mom. Good girl. And she is not looking happy about her mom asking her to do that kind of shit. Because magic has a price, and as this is your thing, I'm not paying it. Thank you for bringing that up. Always important in the magic. That's Scott Summers, bold as brass in San Francisco, meaning that they're infecting us, turning us into them. He said no such thing, but whatever floats your asshole boat. Had a crush on Cyclops when we were the same age. Now, do you need any help with your homework? No thanks, Mom. Disgusting. It's perfect. Oh boy. Good night, Rose Eileen Cobb. Gonna just close my eyes for a minute. Mom? That was weird. No, as we pretty much see her going to sleep. It was magic. Hello, Piper. I saw your signal this morning. My name is Heidi, and that's Ileana. We're mutants. Rexmen. And this is really cool to see him pop in like that. It's like, yeah. Awesome. And I like the use of yellow that's popping up sometimes with this. As we see them, we see Psylocke and Cyclops sparring. It's not exactly the danger room, is it? It is not. Though I never understood why you were all so attached to that thing. Something like Stockholm Syndrome, I suppose. We were terrified of it at first. like we were of you. And now I'm only afraid of one thing. You won't turn into him, Henry. Cyclops won't allow it. I won't allow it. And we see that Magneto actually puts his hand on Beast's shoulder. It's like, holy shit, he's actually trying to be a good guy. I mean, Magneto's had a crazy-ass career, but he's at least attempting to comfort him. That's a big thing, of course. But sometimes I wish I knew as much as he did, and I totally get that for McCoy. It's so frustrating having to catch up with so many years of science of learning. This artificial X gene activation business. Do you think it would be of any use for our purposes? It's hard to say, Max. We're talking about a grasp of genetics that I simply do not possess yet. I'm beating myself to death trying to cure you, Max. To cure us all if need be. I know you are, Henry. I am also frustrated. I'm used to being so much more. That's kind of nuts. That we're getting a little bit more. We don't have the full story yet, but we're getting there. Do you have any other ideas? As we see the action, and I like seeing it like shifting to show us them sparring. I've been going through the files, looking for mutants with the power to manipulate powers. Apparently you have history with one Fabian Cortez. Oh god, I think I'd rather stay in the chair. And Piper's like, ah shit, what'd you do to my mom? It's like, yeah, correct reaction. Just a little sleep spell, so we can have a conversation. It's alright, please. Please don't be frightened. Why don't I tell you what I think is happening, and you can tell me what I got wrong. Can you do that? You think you may be a mutant. You wanted us to know because you didn't know what to do about it. Because your mother wouldn't understand. How am I doing? That's it. Almost. Listen, my mom's not a bad person. She's not. She's all these truth seeker videos she watches. She's so worried about the mutant plague, and then I'm here. It's not your fault, as Temper hugs her. It's like, yeah, but then it gets nutty. Ooh, and then we get our X-mentions. We are on a timeline, ladies. What is your almost, Piper Cobb? I don't think I'm a mutant. I am. I almost got this whole town killed. And it's like, holy shit. It's like, oh, what? Okay, explain, please. But before we get to that explanation, well, we get to, back to the factory. Scott, can we get a dishwasher? We have one. His name is Quentin Quire. Oh, interesting. Could have fooled me. Yeah. Where did the plates go? As Jen's almost like dropping the plates and shit. Allow me, please. Oh, thanks, Dr. McCoy. Please, Miss Starkey. Call me Henry, or Hank if you prefer. Then you'll have to call me Jennifer. Hey, what's your mutant name going to be? I hadn't thought about it. You better get on it. It's tough to think of a cool one. Very true. You should know, Glob. Hey, my name's cool. Just seeing the face of Glob as he's like saying that his name's cool. It's like, oh god. Edie, Ileana, do you want to tell me what's going on here? This is Piper Cobb, Scott. She was here this morning, and she's a mutant. I know who she is, if not what. Edie, I wish you'd come to me about this before bringing a minor into our home without, I can only imagine, the consent of her guardian. I couldn't wait for you and Hank and Magneto to come to a decision, Scott. Besides, Piper is important. It's like, yeah, but now you made a decision, and now we all got to deal with the consequences. It was me, the Iron Knight. It was my fault. It's like, what? The Wild Sentinel was after me. And it's like, oh, so we're getting information on this thing. It's like, what the fuck? Okay, it was after her. And that's the end, as we then also get X-Mail. And a really kind of cool look at the insider's look at the superheroes and villains of the MCU from Marvel Studios head of visual development, Ryan Mendering. That looks really cool. And then we get a tease for the next one. Next issue, The Iron Knight. What does the town of Merle, Alaska owe the X-Men? Where did the defunct Sentinel looming over the town come from? And more importantly, what was it after? Ooh, that looks pretty cool. So, I enjoyed this issue because we're looking into what's kind of going on. We've got pretty much a small group at this point of protesters. Piper's mom is one of them. Really onto the stupid mutant contagion kind of thing. We've got more information that Cassandra Nova, at least according to Quentin Quire, is one that's like linked up with this 3K. They don't know exactly what's going on. Something is affecting Magneto and probably his powers. McCoy is frustrated because he is at such a kind of back foot trying to figure out what's going on here. First, the genetic capabilities of inducing X gene activation in humans and having just like two people that are living with them, and then also the severed arm. I do like Temper working with Magic, seeing how their kind of relationship is, understanding that Temper does keep more of an eye and understands that there's more to Magic than just like, yeah, I'm going to take some motherfuckers' heads, and them going to kind of help Piper, and understanding that the looming Sentinel is connected to her. We don't know exactly what her powers are. Y would probably be going after her. She might be considered a really giant threat. I mean, sure, you don't have to be a giant kind of threat for a Sentinel to come after you, but if it's at the factory and it's deemed it a kind of big enough threat to go after her, her powers must be on a pretty big kind of scale. So we'll have to see how that kind of shakes and pans out. I did also like seeing how Scott and Psylocke kind of spar in the background. That's always a kind of cool thing. This is more of a kind of slow one. There's not really a lot of action, mainly more kind of talking, but it's kind of dynamic enough. We get nice kind of character moments. We understand that Quentin could have fucked with those protesters, but decided not to. We get a little bit more on Glob, a little of Zorn actually doing some shit, which is like just only a little bit. So hopefully we'll see a little bit more, but this is a nice kind of quiet issue, exploring more of like Magic and Temper's kind of relationship, how they go after and try to help Piper. How I do like that Ileana's like, this could be a trap to pretty much be like, we kidnap someone and have the government agencies kind of come to fucking take our asses out. We have to be smart about this. And Scott's like, I wish you had come to me. And Temper's like, I can't have you. Like, the three head honchos pretty much doing nothing about this. It's like, yeah, there's a balance between debating what's kind of going on and doing this in the smartest kind of way possible, and just going out and seeing where the chips lie. Now, if you don't have as much information and you're worried if somebody could be harmed or whatnot, or have information that they're in immediate danger, that's one thing. Sometimes debating it is going to have you come in late or not even help at all. So there is a balancing thing there, but it's kind of cool to see the kind of work out and see and work with the team dynamic. We'll see what kind of repercussions come upon Temper and Magic, how Scott kind of handles and deals with this. I really like seeing how he kind of works with this kind of group. It gives me echoes of what he would think that like Steve Rogers would do, but Steve's got a different kind of style. There's similarities between his and Scott's kind of leadership style at this point, but I do like seeing how Scott is kind of similar to that, but in his own kind of way. I still would prefer Steve Rogers' kind of leadership style because I gravitate more towards it, and more towards the certain kind of creative teams that really nail and get how he kind of leads his teams, like Jen McKay, with when he was doing that kind of blood hunt thing. But it'll be interesting to see how he handles this kind of road kind of action and the repercussions and how they kind of form up the X-Men on this, and what we'll learn about the Iron Knight. So those are my opinions on the issue. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.